The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another awesome day here at RM Hive, and you're tuning in to Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. I'm your host, Revan, and our guest today has always been drawn to stories, the kind that linger, move hearts, and point to something bigger than ourselves. Whether she's bringing characters to life on the page or on stage, her work is rooted in purpose, faith, and a deep love for storytelling. In recent years, her creative journey has taken on new meaning as she's chosen to invite God fully into her writing, shaping not just what she creates, but why she creates. Everything she does flows from a desire to reflect grace, truth, and devotion through art. Please help me welcome the author of The Misfits and New Quantico Files, Ruby G. Hi, Ruby. Thank you for joining us here today. How are you?
Hello, Revan. It's a pleasure to be here. I am doing well. I am blessed beyond measure. How are you?
I'm actually really excited about this book right here because from the synopsis itself, it's actually very interesting. And I have also, promoted this one back in the Festival of Storytellers as well during the book plug. And speaking of this Festival of Storytellers, for all our viewers out there, Ruby G here is one of our featured authors. So, Ruby, how was your experience during the festival?
It was phenomenal. From beginning to end, with the way that Reader's Magnet just helped
Mhm.
me as a first timer just be able to do this smoothly
Mhm.
and make sure that I was able to get my voice heard. I was able to get my
Yes.
story out, as well as learn more about my other fellow authors who are connected
Mhm.
through the festival. And Reader's Magnet was great. It was a smooth process. It was an enjoyable process. And I couldn't believe how fast those 2 weeks went.
Yeah. And also, for all you guys out there, Ruby will also be with us in April during the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books. She will be there. She will talk about her book. She will sign copies of her book as well and talk to a confab as well in Hilton Hotel as well before the LATFAB or LA Times Festival of Books at the USC grounds, University of Southern California as well. And her book will also be featured in the Reader's Magnet booth during the London Book Fair on March 10 to 12 as well. And I'm so excited about this book. I hope you guys will actually have this as well. Get a copy. It's available out there. It's called The Misfits, New Quantico Files. This is the book cover. So, Ruby, okay, this is for all our viewers as well. So, can you briefly describe the world of, New Quantico Files, the Misfits, and the Society of New Quantico, and what makes it unique?
Absolutely. So, New Quantico Files The Misfits takes place in a world post nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
And after the nuclear war,
Mm-hmm.
there were people who gained abilities. There is one
Mm.
organization that rose from the ashes of the war called New Quantico. They took one of these super powered beings and, with their permission, started running tests and experiments and
Mm-hmm.
learned how to create what they call the paragene
Mm.
and to create more superhuman beings, which they decided to call parahumans. And from
Mm.
that, they have created an army of parahumans in vitro to in order to protect and rebuild what is left of the
Mm-hmm.
United States of America.
Nice, very interesting right there. It's a world that I want to explore more. So if you guys are into that as well, so I'm excited about this book. I might want to have a grab copy of this as well. So Ruby, what inspired you to write a dystopian story centered around engineered loyalty and obedience?
So the answer to that question is interesting because
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't my original plan. What
Mm-hmm.
happened was when I was younger, I used to write stories just for me and my friends with my
Mm-hmm.
friends. And we just created our own little world. We created our own little
Mm.
characters. And the characters that I had created, I loved them in the confines of what me and my friends were doing, but there was something in my spirit that always told me that there was more to them. And I held on to that, and I just kept going through life, going through college. And there was one time where I was in class, in my English class, and we somehow referenced the periodic table that was on the wall. After that, I had turned to my friend and I said to her a joke that I've been saying literally my whole life since I can remember, which was my favorite element on the periodic table is beryllium. Because if you have two ceruleums, because if you have two ceruleums, you have me. Because my childhood nickname was Cece back in the day. And like ceruleum, the letters are CECE.
CECE.
Like I said, I've been saying that my whole life, but this time when I said it, it sank in differently. And I realized in that moment that you could decode names with the periodic table using the atomic number and the letters. After that, everything just kind of came to me. Praise the Lord. And I took the characters from that little world that me and my friends were making. I decoded their names. And after that, I just took who they were and created the Misfits with the Lord's help. So that's kind of a real quick synopsis of how me writing the Misfits came to be. I never really set out trying to write dystopian sci-fi. I've always loved sci-fi, so that doesn't surprise me that I ended up here. But that was never, I never was like, this is why I want to do it. It was more, the Lord gave me the epiphany and I went with it.
I actually love how how unique it actually came to be. So from from creating names from the periodic table, it's actually really unique. And creating the name from or deriving the name from the what do you mean? From the
periodic table,
periodic
the atomic
table,
number, yeah.
deriving, and then the story actually just writes itself after that. And I love that. It's like
Thank you.
it's like you've been being guided as well. And yeah, such an inspiration. And going back to the book, why is the organization of New Quantico called both a protector and a suppressor of individuality?
So they are called a protector because their whole mantra, everything that they've tried to do, even before the nuclear war, was to protect the United States, to protect its people, to build like an even better, more stronger, more thriving America. And then the nuclear war hit, everything was gone, and so now they had to rebuild from the ashes. And so they are the one organization as of right now that is keeping America afloat in my novel. However, that's what the world, or that's what America sees them as. But when you get a closer look as to what they truly do inside, you see how they are suppressing, because of the way that they create parahumans, how they make them function, and the way that they just go about training them, creating them, and putting them into boxes. They really treat parahumans like products, and its products can be thrown away, kind of thing. And so on the outside, they look like they are the protectors, but on the inside, you see that it's very morally gray.
I love that. So, because to me, as you said it, it also reflects. It kind of reflects the real world as well. The people being boxed into this, and some other people are actually using the talents as well to go beyond that. So relatable to some of the people as well. So yeah, and you know what? Just like what you said a while ago when you were creating names from Predictable, I actually got this name. So I love the name, by the way, of the character. It's Aether. So can you tell us about Aether and what defines her at the beginning of the story?
Yes. So Aether is the main character, and that is actually not her name. That is her alias. That is very important. That is very important because New Quantico, like I was saying before, all of their parahumans, their test subjects, they are only known by codes and aliases.
Oh, yes.
I believe Aether's number is 538811.
Mm.
And that's
5388.
the code that is printed on the back of her neck, like
Mm-hmm.
a barcode. And then her alias Aether is derived from her ability, because she has
Mm-hmm.
this like she's able to harness energy
Mm-hmm.
with her body and with her hands.
Mm.
And so that is why New Quantico donned her Aether, which ironically enough, the reason I chose to give people give parahumans aliases is
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to keep writing out numbers throughout the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
Like
True.
E58739 said this. Like, all right, bada bing,
And
bada
it's
boom.
hard to memorize numbers as well.
Exactly. I was like, I didn't want that. So I was like, we're gonna give them aliases, but not
True.
names yet.
Yes. I actually just, no names yet, just the code names for this book.
Mhm.
I love that.
Thank
So
you.
um I would want to know more about these characters when you said that, they were just numbers and then they are creating their own code name based on their power as well.
Mhm.
So, and what we have here, Aether, and we're so excited about this. I would love to have a copy of this book. So, here, what personal qualities or experiences set Aether apart from others within the elect?
So what sets her apart? There's a couple things that sets her apart. Some things I
Mm-hmm.
cannot say because of spoilers, but other things that I
True,
can
true.
say, um, she she is a leader.
Mm.
And one thing to give slight context with the elect is what I call a section of like a section, which is like a group that New Quantico
Mm-hmm.
will put the parahumans, their test subjects, in after their 262 days of
Mm-hmm.
conditioning. And there's various different ones that are connected to different abilities. Like if you can fly, you'll probably be in
Mm-hmm.
aeronautics. If you have a healing ability, you'll be in the medical
Mm-hmm.
battalion. But there
Mm.
are the select few that are good enough to New Quantico that will actually make
Mm.
up like elite squadrons or elite groups of various different kind of superpowered beings,
Mhm,
and that's what the elect is. So it's like the highest branch of parahuman.
mhm,
And so is she's one of the strongest
mhm,
uh, in different ways, not just physically, but she's one of the strongest.
mhm,
She's one that has like problem solving. She takes
mhm,
initiative and she takes action. And for that, plus other reasons, the higher ups of New Quantico take
mhm,
notice of her more than
mm.
others.
Love that. And you mentioned a while ago that there are actually people and they are numbered as well and using their
Mhm,
code name. So it also made me curious. So I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but
mhm.
who are other key characters in the book and how do they influence Aether's journey?
So we've got a couple. I will say, in regards to the elect,
Mhm,
um, she has a couple people that are
mhm.
important to her story. One's name is Mercury. She can melt
Mercury.
any substance known to man.
Mhm.
One is Illusionist. He can
Illusion.
create illusions that are so powerful they become real. There's
Mhm.
Radiant, who has the power to harness light. There's
Uh-huh.
Ariel, um, and she is very nimble and agile.
Mhm.
And then there is Patron, who has the ability to heal.
Mhm.
On the flip side, there's another group that is
Mhm.
very vital to her, even
Mhm.
before her elect squadron, because
Mhm.
the parahumans that I said now make up her elect squadron later. But the other ones, their aliases are Ex Machina,
Mhm.
Greyhound, and Visionary.
Visionary.
Yes. And so Ex Machina is the strongest super soldier
Uh-huh.
in commission. Like when I say she's strong, think Captain America, but 10
Mhm.
times stronger
Sure.
physically. Um, and Greyhound, he is a human wolf hybrid. And then
Mhm.
Visionary can see visions of the future. These
Nice.
three are very, very vital to who Aether is during her 262 days of
Mhm.
conditioning, because they met throughout that time, and they basically became, even though she didn't fully have the words for it at this point,
Mhm.
they became her found family. They became her people.
Mm.
And it is because of her people, these three, that she makes a very vital decision in the book that she does
Mhm.
decide to make, that changes the trajectory of where the story could go depending on
Mhm.
what decision she made.
Mhm. I love the names, by the way, and the characters
Yeah,
and their powers. I'm excited about Illusionist and Greyhound.
thank you. Those,
So
those are some good ones. They have good stories for sure.
yes, I'd love to know more about them. Illusionist's power. Having the power of illusion and making it real. I love that power as well.
Well,
And Greyhound, the man wolf
hmm,
of the group. I love to know more about them. Very interesting characters.
thank
I'm
you.
so excited about this. And so, Ruby, the
Mhm,
book tackles the cost of blind loyalty. And
mhm,
what does loyalty mean in this book?
hmm. Loyalty, I would say the definition of loyalty in this book, it changes throughout the story. So when the
Mm-hmm.
story first starts, loyalty is you do what you're told, you do it how
Mm-hmm.
you're told, and you do it
Mm-hmm.
perfectly, or there's dire consequences.
Mm-hmm.
As the story progresses, as the story is told, and as the concept of what it means to be human unfolds, loyalty becomes more of a, Lord, give me the words. Loyalty is more of an action, but
Mm-hmm.
an unconditional action. Kind of like what I was saying before, where it's like you do everything perfectly or dire consequences.
Mm-hmm.
That's conditional. They have to do it a specific way, or else they will be punished to the highest degree.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas loyalty, as they go on, it's more loyalty out of love, even if they don't have
Mm-hmm.
that word in their vocabulary just quite yet. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
their loyalty is actions, even still, but actions that you choose to out of your own volition, not
Mm-hmm.
because you have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
There's honestly, there's, if I may say, there's even a dialogue between Ex
Mm-hmm.
Machina and Greyhound at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the novel that kind of showcases the dichotomy of the beginning idea of loyalty, where they are debating each other,
Mm-hmm.
and Greyhound is talking about how, like, they have a choice, but Ex Machina is like, we don't have a choice. We either do
Mm-hmm.
everything that they ask perfectly, or we die. And then but then Greyhound says, it's still a choice whether or not you like the options.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very interesting dynamic, a very interesting dichotomy of what
Mm-hmm.
loyalty truly means. And I think that phrase that Greyhound says
Yes.
really can highlight what loyalty is
Yes.
in both
And
ways.
actually love that. I love that they have a conversation about that as well. And yeah, it's something to be explored about. And as what you said, you've also introduced us to some of the characters that people can look forward to. So we have, Illusionist, Mercury, Ex Machina, Visionary,
Mhm,
and the others as well. And I believe some of these characters will become more complex as you write them. And
mhm.
I just want to ask, how do you explore the idea, of choice in a world where survival depends on obedience?
Um, kind of in the same vein of the last question, it evolves
Mm-hmm.
throughout, because
Mm-hmm.
when we first see them, as while they're in the midst of their conditioning,
Mm-hmm.
there really is no real choice. Kind of like Ex
Mhm.
Machina says, they have to do everything that they ask
Mhm.
perfectly or they're done for.
Mhm.
But it is only once their conditioning is over and after situations arise that they are
Mhm.
actually able to fully understand or begin to learn how to understand what choices actually are,
Mhm.
because these parahumans, they just woke up one day and
Mhm.
they knew what they were, they knew where they were, and they knew what they had to
Mhm.
do. Simple as that. But once
Mm.
all of that is behind them, now they have all they can do is survive. And that's kind of what drives them until more characters come in,
Mhm.
situations arise, and then having more choices, like then they
Mhm.
have more options to choose from, and it's not just black and white. It goes from black
Mhm.
and white to gray to color.
I love that it actually also evolves, it explores and evolves all throughout the story. And now, what does it mean to be, human in a world where individuality is engineered out of people?
What it means to be human, that is something that the entire book really, that is honestly the theme of book one,
Mhm.
is what does it mean to be human. And what I will say is the theme of this entire series is the human condition.
Mhm.
um, but since we are talking about book one right now, what it means what it means to be human, don't want to get ahead of myself,
Uh-huh.
what it means to be human is basically, what it means to be human is to have a choice.
Mhm.
And also what it means to be human, as I believe and I know that what it means to be human is to be made in the image of God, which is what we all are made in. We are
Mhm.
made in the image of our creator.
Mhm.
And by being made in God's image, we are made with a choice, because it says in scripture in Genesis, that God created. He chose to
Mhm.
create. He didn't have to create, but he did. He chose to create. And
He chose
so
to.
by choosing, that is a part of his nature, is to choose. And so
Mhm.
by us being in the image of God, we are we also, it is in our nature to choose.
Mhm.
And this book really starts off where these parahumans, these test subjects, they don't quote unquote have a choice. So it's like they're not
Mhm.
even human. But in reality, that they are. They are made of flesh, they are made of blood, they are made of skin and bones, they have souls, they just don't know it yet. They are treated as
Mhm.
if they don't. They are treated as if they are products when they
Mhm.
are made in the image of God. And as they escape, as they go through the rest of this story,
Mhm.
they begin to see themselves as
Mm.
human. And the fact that they have to make choices, some of them
Mhm.
are minor, like, oh, I
Mhm.
like this versus this. Some of them are major, that really changes the
Mhm.
trajectory of their entire life. um, it is from those choices that they really begin to step into the humanity
Mhm.
that has always rightfully been theirs.
Mm. I actually love that you mentioned that, you know, the characters have the choices, and this actually, changes the trajectory of their life. I love how it actually, creates their character as well as it goes through the as we turn on the page.
Mhm,
So kind of reflects on what you said a while ago. So from from gray to being colorful, so it actually really evolves based
mhm,
on how the characters deal with different challenges and how they choose their paths. I
mhm.
love that. And
Thank
yes,
you.
and here's one fun question that I would like to ask you. So if you could summarize the Misfits or New Quantico Files in one sentence, what would it be?
Hmm. A journey of humanity. A journey of humanity that everyone can see themselves in some way, shape, or form.
A journey of humanity. I love that as well. It actually explains as well. So as well as the characters
Mm-hmm.
having to have different choices. It could be a simple
Mm-hmm.
choice or a choice that will actually change you know their paths, the paths of their life or their trajectory. Uh, which is actually fit for characters to be in like in a series or in a movie, and people can relate to it as well because
Mm-hmm.
people get to have choices. And
Mm-hmm.
some of us will actually, I'm excited, I'm very excited for some people to read this book and actually see themselves in different characters. Like would they see themselves in Aether's shoes, or will they be like the ex machina? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for them to, share that to you. So, what would you feel if you're the author and people are sharing that to you?
It would be a blessing beyond measure to just
True.
have people reach out to me and just tell me their honest thoughts, whether good or bad, their honest thoughts, and especially if they can see themselves in some of these characters, whether it be their highest of highs, like
Mm-hmm.
if you can see yourself because you're like, oh yeah, like with Illusionist, he's got kind of
Mm-hmm.
like he knows who he is and he's got that confidence in him, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I got that, I see myself in him. Like I would love to hear
Yeah.
that. Or like um or like even sometimes with some of my characters with their lowest of lows, and if they're like, you helped me see that I'm not alone
Mm-hmm.
because of this, that's all I need. But most importantly, if people see the love of Jesus in my story,
Mm-hmm.
if people are introduced to him
Mm-hmm.
and wonder about him and be like, hey, I see that you see something, and I'm curious enough to see if I can see it too, then my
Mm-hmm.
job is done. That's more than enough. Nothing else matters as long as Christ is seen and as long
Yeah.
as they can see him through my stories and through me, it is enough.
Mm-hmm. You know what? What I love of what you just said is that you've created this universe, this such amazing book with relatable characters and the journey that they had in the story, but you still have this one goal, to introduce Christ to the readers. I love that. I love that some of our authors are like that as well, and this one is quite unique because it's through a fiction, a science fiction that's
Mhm.
impactful for all of us young readers as well. It could be for young readers or adults
Mhm.
as well who are into these types of stories, and they get to know Christ as well. I
Mhm.
love that.
Thank you.
And this is my first time to actually have this type of book with that spiritual intention as well, which actually is needed by a lot of people, that Christ is there and that they are not alone. I love that.
Mhm. Thank you.
And here's one question as well. Fun question for me. So, do you have one question in mind that you wish interviewers would ask you about this book in the future?
Hmm. One question that I would love to hear:
Hmm.
what's next? I
What's
would love
next?
to hear people ask. I would love to hear people who've read my stories, who've
Mm-hmm.
taken a chance on me, who know that,
Mm-hmm.
who heard me, who saw me in some capacity and said, you know what, I'm interested in what she has to say
Mm-hmm.
through these stories. They read it. They see that everything that I'm saying, I strive to be true. And now they're like, what's next? Is there more? If they ask that, then that means that I'm doing something right. And I can proudly say that there is more that's upcoming. So yeah, I would
Yes.
say what's next.
And I love and I also know I can feel it as well that there's definitely gonna be more, surround this conversation. So because it evolves. So
Mhm.
this character, we have different characters as well. So right here we're focusing on Aether, and I can sense that just my thoughts. I haven't read the book yet. That, for example, Ex Machina,
Hmm.
you've actually shared, and I got interested about her. So I said a while ago that I love to know more about Illusionist and
Hmm.
Greyhound, but you said about Ex Machina, talking about obedience. We have to should follow this, and we can everything's gonna be perfect. So I imagine the character to be like the perfect child and has to do this and that. That's just
Hmm.
my thoughts. I'm actually excited to know more about her as well. Ex Machina. You don't have to give me the spoiler for that. I'm excited about it. And here, do you have any final thoughts or encouragement for future writers listening today, especially if they are also writers of these types of books, which
Hmm.
is amazing. They have.
I would say no matter what you write, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetry, screenplays, even just little tiny notes
Mhm,
that who knows where they go, do it from the heart and do it with Christ.
mhm.
Because I can
Yes.
assure you, I could not have done this without him,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't have wanted to do it without him. I will
Yes.
say, I don't think I have the time to give the whole testimony,
Mhm,
but I will say that when I started
mhm,
this, I wasn't necessarily doing it without him.
mhm,
I wasn't trying to hide him, but I wasn't necessarily doing it with him. And
mhm,
after I got to a certain point, I wasn't sure where to go. And
mhm,
it wasn't until after that I grew with the Lord and I grew in my relationship with him and I just fell so much more in love with him that I realized I was
mhm,
like, Lord, I don't want to do this without you. And
mhm,
I want you to write with me. And I said in one of my interviews in my author interview in Festival of Storytellers that it was
mhm,
when I came to this point, I knew that he had given me a pen in my hand.
mhm,
But then in that point, I gave it back to him because I was like, Lord, I don't want to do this without you. And when I did, instead of taking it, he took my hand and now we write
mhm.
together. And
Wow.
when that happened, when that truly happened, the timetable just sped up ridiculous like a supernaturally fast. I was able to finish this book. I was able to publish it on January 5th, 2025, which was
Mhm,
the exact day it was supposed to be published. That's a whole other testimony. Like I said, I don't have enough time
mhm,
for. But and now that as I'm working on the sequel and all the stuff that's upcoming,
mhm,
it it's different. When you write with him versus when you write without, it is when you do anything with him versus without, it is different. And doing it with him is far better than without. So please,
mhm,
my suggestion to everyone listening to me who is a creator, who
mhm,
is a mathematician, a teacher, whatever it is that your life calling is, do
mhm.
it with Jesus. You will not regret it.
I actually love that. Do it with your heart, do it with Christ. So
Mhm.
it's also very relatable as well. So for all our viewers out there, yes, I can also testify to that. So do it with your heart and do it with Christ, and everything will actually just follow. So it's going to be just a very smooth flow when you do it now and do it with a heart, with full
Mhm.
intention, and with Christ as well in mind and in heart. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be
Mhm.
fine. Everything's going to be perfect. And you just have to
Mhm.
trust the process as well.
Amen.
And I love that.
Thank
So,
you.
so Ruby, I'd like to give the spotlight to you. Tell us if you have future projects and where we can buy your book as well.
Yes. So, my book, forgive me, everyone, I don't have a physical copy with me, but you can see
But
the
it's here,
cover right
yeah.
there.
Yes.
And my book, you can find it on Amazon. You can also find it online at Barnes and Noble, as well as Kobo Books.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently in the beginning stages of figuring out how to do it with an audio, like to create an audiobook. And
Mm-hmm.
so uh, like for all my audiobook listeners, keep an eye out for that. That'll be upcoming in the future, sooner rather
Mm-hmm.
than later, hopefully. Um, and I'm also working on a Kickstarter that I'm hoping to
Mm-hmm.
release in the very near future sometime
Mm-hmm.
this month. Where just as Revan graciously said at the beginning of this, I will be at Lord willing, I will be at the LA Book Fair, so I will be
Mm-hmm.
there signing copies and all that stuff. But for the people who aren't in LA, for the people who can't make it, I am planning to launch a Kickstarter where you can
Mm-hmm.
purchase my book through there, and I will send it to you, signed copies and all that. So keep an eye out for that as well. As for other projects, as was asked by, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was Timothy. Forgive me if that was the wrong person, but there is more than just the Misfits. I am
Mm-hmm.
currently, yes, Aaron, this would make, or thank you for saying it would make
Yeah,
a series. That is exactly what
I
it's supposed to be.
agree. I agree.
It is supposed to be a trilogy with a prequel and a side story. And I'm currently working on book 2, which is called The Elect, New Quantico Files, The Elect.
Mm-hmm.
And see you there, Rachel. Um, and so I'm in the process of that. But along with that, I also am chipping away at a fantasy franchise, as I like to call it, which is called The World of Adone, which is it's a very big fantasy project that I'm doing where there's different, as I call them, lineages. So like
Mm-hmm.
different kind of like people groups, and they all have their own stories, and I'm writing them
Mm-hmm.
in a series of like short stories that all connect with
Mm-hmm.
each other, and will
Nice.
culminate into, thank you, and will culminate into a main story at some time in the future, which will be called Where the Trees Grow Gold. And that is still in its beginning stages. I have a couple out on my I have a couple short stories out on my website, rubygwrites.com. So if you want to read some of them and see what I'm doing with that, that is also something that I'm chipping away at. But my main focus right now is New Quantico Files.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a poetic memoir out, which is
Mm-hmm.
called Colors of the Mind. It is a poetic memoir of my 4 years in college. It it is a deeper look into how I became who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my 3 main things, and I hope whichever ones pique your interest, that you
Uh-huh.
will take a chance on me and see what the Lord is saying through me.
Yes, that's actually. I'm also very excited about you. You have a lot of books. So for all our viewers out there, again, you can also check out her works. It's at www.rubygwrites.com. So check out her works, and I'm so excited about this, especially the Misfits. Because there
Yeah.
are characters here, and I just want to ask for the last time, for the very last time, Ruby. I just want to ask if you have a favorite character that we would have to look forward to in here, or are there secret characters here that we need to look into the book?
That is such a good question. I feel like my favorite, ooh, that's really hard, but I will have to say my favorite right now that I think is going to stand the test of time is probably Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Um, kind of like what you said with you being interested in her. I think
Mm-hmm.
you'd be surprised at the kind of character she is, but in a good way. In a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I will say is she follows the rules because she has to, not because she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And um, that definitely shows in her personality, but in the best way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at least from what I've heard from other people, and I mean, I could be biased, so I don't want to put my
Mm-hmm.
official opinion out there, but from what I've heard from other people, she's a character that I hope and I pray that everybody can enjoy and
Mm-hmm.
will be open to her journey, because it is a big one. It is a big one. Aether might be the main character of book 1,
Mm-hmm.
but don't sleep on Ex Machina.
Yeah.
She's got some good things coming. She's got some good things coming.
Yes, I love that we actually get to have a lot of characters. Aether is someone we need to look forward to as well, because it's a journey, and she has a very good journey ahead of her. And there are also other characters that people get to look forward to, and I love that. So Ex Machina, I would
Mhm.
love to know her better, and of course Aether. I'm excited about her and her journey, because it's a journey, it's an adventure, and it's about being human in this world, being
Mhm.
um a numbered human, parahuman, right? And then with a code name I'm so
Yeah.
excited about this, Ruby. So,
Thank
for all our
you.
viewers out there, once again, this is Ruby G, our featured author today. Get your copy of the Misfits New Quantico Files on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and everywhere on the internet. Go find her. That's Ruby G. And the book, once again, is The Misfits. This is the book cover right here for your reference. It's called The Misfits New Quantico Files, and her other works as well are available on her website. That's rubygwrites.com. So RUBYGWRITES.com. So check out her works. She will be again, she will be with us at the LA Times Festival of Books, signing copies. So if you want to get know her better, let she can sign up a copy of her book. Go ahead
Mhm.
and get a copy, and her book will also be um featured in the London Book Fair with Readers Magnet. So,
Yes.
Ruby, thank you so much for joining us here today. It has been
Thank
such an awesome conversation with you, and I'm so excited
you.
about this book. I will definitely have a copy of this book.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Yes. And guys, let's open the pages and unravel the secrets of your personal odyssey. And I believe that your ink never runs dry. So go ahead and tell your story, storyteller. Once again, this is your host, Revan, with our featured author, Ruby G. And as we say it here at Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Bye for now. Stay awesome.
Bye. God bless.
God bless you more.